your sexual appetite will drop. Do we agree? Obokoi. Actually, the word we say nkoye. So that's the first sign. So your sexual appetite will go down. Your sleep will go down. What happens? You become jittery. You're short-tempered. Sometimes it's not that they're little monsters. No. But it's because you're short-tempered already. You're on your age. Then you almost want to explode at everything. And then you get emotion. We are criers. Some of you break down them unnecessarily. You know? Those are signs. Your skin dries out, becomes flaky, your hair breaks. The breastfeeding ones, I'm a very gobbler. Not so. So some of the signs that you'll have are so personal.
Just a minute. From the responses and the smiles I'm seeing on people's faces, like you're talking to everyone.
Because we've all gone through that at one point or another. Right. So I've walked that journey in so many times, and it also took me some time to realize that, look, I'm having a breakdown. So I realized that nenyambala and you're like, sagala kumanya notikako ekikaya nosolako dira noyambala sapato no lumba, that's the time you don't actually care what your man wears.
Wow.
Men think we are angry. Bahaji tetuba banyivu tuba bako. There's a difference. So when you get tired, there's a spillover, and unfortunately the spillover is not just on you, it is with other people. And some of the signs that you should look out for is how you dress, how you speak to people, what's your threshold for patience. And you just look away. Us with big eyes, you just look away, and then there's going to come a time and you're actually going to give this guy a full mouthful. Like, 30 minutes of kati bosanga omukyala nga muvumi ajja kukukyusa omutwe gwa gufula ogw'ekiwalata because you moved a glass from here to here. It is not because she's rude, ill-mannered or something. It's because she's tired. Most of us women pop a pill, omutwe gukuluma aluma. So I was that woman. So I literally had Panadol everywhere I checked. In my car, in my bag, in my drawer, on my desk, and it was that bad. So most of us some will chew gum excessively. Others will binge on food. You've seen some of your girlfriends who will, they'll eat, high appetite. And you actually don't know why they're eating, but it's actually because they're having a meltdown. And sometimes as women, we are very harsh. We have passive aggression. Instead of reaching out to someone and say, I change kulia, we actually get in a corner like, man, kazalia. It's and the Hajjis are like, we tondire munyumba. It's the snide remarks. And then the house help. No sango mukazi nabo golero omuntu. For no apparent reason. Nagambya jawa kino namuwerezaako ekigendera ku namuvuma. And so the men always have this look of kanve wano. So all those are signs of a meltdown, and it's a sign that you're probably not balancing yourself, work and your home. One of them is either work yekumenya ajagala ozaale nnyo, like wikasera obeera mulema, or you're very, very active. You know what I'm talking about, ladies. There's cameras in front of us. There's certain things I won't say. So waka wayinza okuba wakumenya. And then there's men, mikwano jafa baganza sagala mukozi wache waka. So she comes from work, 8 hours on the desk, 4 hours in traffic. How many are those? 12. Natanko kuyiriba ewaka. And our very lovely African men will sit in front of the telly on their phones, wait for everything. And then they'll say, ndi musajja sikola ki?
Sikola mirimu.
And they'll say, sirina kutuma kukola. But when it comes to the bills, they'll say, cheek. When the landlord yayiseeko wano, tukoze tutya. When it's bills time, it's tukoze tutya. When it's workload, and yet Nabi, the Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, men should help their
wives.
There was something at the end of it. Ajja kutuuka mu kitanda akooye, omusaba amaanayo, and baina aya gye basoma. Angels, so, because there's a spillover and you've not helped, common. We have to investigate chivawa. So if you know you're not going to be helping her, let her get the help she needs to balance herself at home on the life side.
All right.
So yeah, for me, those were my signs. I popped pills. I was jittery. I was tired. My hair broke. I was not sleeping. Yeah.
Is there a moment like you blacked out, you fainted?
Several.
So
yes.
At that moment is when you realize that why am I over blacking out?
Yes.
Because all these moments you've shared, like you really take like a long time to realize that you need help. There's always that.
There's a moment.
Trigger.
For me, the moment came when I was in hospital.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I really want to know.
The investigator and the lecturer, but I was really sick. You know when and they said there's nothing. So they referred me to a psychiatrist. And you know in Uganda when they give you a shrink, you're like, two things. You're like, one, siri mulalo. The second thing is like, okay, I'm not going to give out my
private life sharing.
So for us as Africans, techiliyo. And when I got there, I kept quiet for an hour. I'm like, I'm okay, bill me, but I'm not going to say anything. And he's like, okay, go find someone to talk to. Until I found somebody I could talk to, and alhamdulillah, it was family. It was someone I could really, really trust, and I emptied. And then the mentor also came in. Yeah.
All right. So, I don't know. That moment is really important because many of us, especially women, we are going through that. But we haven't realized that actually we need help. Like the way you said, honestly, many of us, paracetamol is everywhere.
Yes.
Many of us, the skin is cracking. Many of us, we are emotional.
Very.
Tamper with me at your own risk. So, tufuse bayombi. Then, for some other people, yes, the appetite will escalate. Then abala kulia. So, my sisters, we need to check ourselves. In the moment you're breaking out. Okay?
Even right. Pimples can be a sign.
Yeah, sometimes the body talks. Yeah, you
the
get
body
pimples.
To you.
You get pimples, loss of weight, all that. So before I interrupted you, you're sharing with the solutions. How?
So, for me, the solutions really was one of the hardest things I've had to go through because when I got a mentor, I had to go back to the ABCs of planning my day. What's important to you and what's urgent to you and what's not important to you and, you know, what's not urgent. So I had to sift through. And then I just realized that naina listing, because my business was young, ngwino kunonya sente za renti, misala j'abaana, you know, bills here and there. I borrowed from friends. I became a nuisance. By the way, everyone who held my hand, thank you. This is the moment when I'm saying thank you. So I borrowed from friends. There's a lot of things you'll do because you're trying to survive.
Yes.
And so she had to take me through and say, nadalanga business ento. What's important, what's urgent. Rental important and urgent. Emisala giri important and urgent. Paper may not really be urgent because you can use emails, right? Right. And office may not actually be important. Nogamba kabakolereka. I can find a way of remote working. So I had to go back to, first of all, which part of my day was my life. So I realized I had no time for me. You know, they never kasawa kumi. Napoleon said women sleep 4. Those who did history, 8 hours. Men sleep 6 hours. Warriors sleep The rest are whores. A whore sleeps less, you know. So that was him. It's not me. It was just a light moment. But get your sleep. So I realized I was not sleeping well. So she told me, first and foremost, which means take a belly, zone out.
Okay.
And then the worst enemy was
The phone.
we sleep with them under our pillows. So you don't actually, you asked me about checking out, zoning out. Because there's TikTok now, there's Facebook, there's WhatsApp, there's a message. You don't actually zone out. So the first thing she taught me was, what's your sleep time and wake up time? How do you prioritize your day?
Alright.
Number 3, how much time are you giving to your family? It was a hard question because I just realized one day nakoma weka. You know how you're excited to come home? And my little girl came, 2 minutes. And I didn't exist for them. So getting back in their life was also hard. Yeah. So how much time you give to your children, even your spouse, to biaule. When we say family, as mothers, to gamba bana. But when we say family, it's both jebakuzala.
Your primary
Sorry?
family.
So jebakuzala, abaana bo, n'omwami wo. That's your family. So sometimes we think jebatuzala does not matter anymore. N'osigaza dduwa, nyembe, n'embaga, n'okuziika. And then you before you realize it, there's a gap between you and your sisters, and then your work people
become your first family.
Your sisters,
or your immediate.
And then when you leave work, they are the first strangers you'll know. So no sigalao wakati. So how much time you give to your family, when do you give them time is most important. Your calendar should be on your phones. Mwina masimu, use them. Your time is your time. How many of you have me time and they actually go for a spa day? Tumanyi byabali bana. You do? She does. I've only about 5-6 people. So when do you have me time? Like, teri mwana, teri msajja, teri mkwano gwange, teri bossi, teri mama, nothing, nada, no one. It's me. How many of us go for a spa day? You'll find that none of us actually have. So it's weekly. Nga wogamba nti omwana omwa time, weekly, boss, weekly, husband, weekly, friends, weekly. You're the engine. Temwe kubanjawulo. Give yourself time. So for me, the solutioning was mentorship, talking to somebody, planning my day.
Planning your day.
Yeah.
All right, mashallah.